Everyone on this list has been issued a cease and desist order, but our I-team found a security company that works for nearly all of the big venues in our area still working despite this document they signed, promising they would not, and they could be putting you at risk. Security guards at the entrance to shows and events are so common now, you probably hardly think twice when they scan you with a metal detector or ask you to search your bag. In fact, the more security shirts Joni Coward sees, the safer she feels when she brings her grandkids to events at the James Brown Arena.
I think it's more important than ever with everything that's going on.
So when we told her the security guards working the monster truck show they just bought tickets for do not have a license to do business as a security company, were not background checking their employees, and could not provide proof of proper training, she had a few questions.
I find that very disappointing, and then you got to wonder exactly what is behind the scenes and what's going on and exactly why that isn't happening. Why would they not have people that have background checks and all?
The company is called the Security Guys. They've worked events all over the CSRA for big venues. Lady A, the Miller, the JBA, USC Aiken, the Western Carolina State Fair. They also work security at Kids Prompt Care in Augusta. Back in October, SLED shut them down at the Western Carolina State Fair. The report says agents saw a guard holding a walkie-talkie, wearing a red T-shirt with Security Guys displayed on the front and security on the back. They asked them to leave, contacted fair officials, and told them the Security Guys could not be contracted as a security company because they're not licensed to work security in the state of South Carolina.
How about Wednesday, 10 o'clock?
Gene Stalkup is a former Richmond County investigator. He served on the state board that licenses private security companies for years. He says a security company license is a lot more than a fee and a piece of paper.
Public safety is the number one issue. Knowing that the person that is acting as a security guard does not have a criminal history, that's, exercised the control over other people that security guards may exercise.
And here's why you should care that security companies are licensed. The state checks to make sure those companies are doing those background checks, have a surety bond or insurance, and proper training. Just look at this list of training requirements. Everything from crowd control and evacuation to first aid, bomb threats, and terrorism.
I'm counting on the fact that you are secure and everybody's taken care of, and if that's not true, and they're just regular people or something like that, then you take the, children's lives in their hands and everything else.
So why are these companies not getting licensed? We tracked down the man who claims to be the owner of the Security Guys to find out.
Hello.
Hi, is this Brian Brady?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Brian, this is Laura Warren with News 12. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
He didn't want to talk to us on camera, but agreed to answer our questions on the phone.
We do not have to be certified to do what we do. There's a loophole in doing security and doing event staffing.
But a name says a lot, and their name is the Security Guys.
We named it that a long time ago, not knowing the laws and all that.
We found that you guys have a cease and desist order on file with the state of Georgia.
That's right, to do any type of security.
They signed this order in December. So why did we see the Security Guys at Futurity, the Miller Theater, Kids Prompt Care, and the Monster Truck Show this past month?
We're doing event staffing. We're not out doing patrol services. We're not doing security at gates and businesses and stuff like that. Only thing we do is concerts and outdoor events, which is a concert or, things like that. We're not actually doing security itself.
But the Kids Prompt Care is not an event. And both states appear to disagree with his definition of event staffing. South Carolina law identifies a security business as personnel with authority to allow or refuse access to property. Georgia's definition also includes guard service.
Well, yeah, the Miller, it doesn't. It says staff at the Miller.
Or does it? This was taken just last Friday. You're working at the JBA and the Lady A with security shirts on, so the average public assumes, okay, these people are following all the protocols, they have all the proper training.
Right. So it sounds like you know exactly what's going on, so do whatever you need to do. I done said what I needed to say.
Our I-team has been investigating a spike in child porn cases for the past 5 months, and this is the number of arrests we found in South Carolina alone. This is a 467% increase in just 5 years. But that's not all we uncovered. Over the last few years, we found the victims have been getting younger. a lot younger. We're talking about toddlers and even infants. Jordan Logan arrested in Columbia County, accused of child pornography.
I don't even know what to tell the children today when they get home from school. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't play outside today.
Claude Johnson accused of the same thing. And another arrest, this one just blocks away from Columbia Middle.
For it to be down the street from us and not knowing, that was a shock to us.
The description of what investigators say they found on John Malone's devices is way too graphic for TV. But we can show you this word that keeps popping up in arrest warrants: prepubescent. GBI agent Charles Kicklighter has spent his career tracking down child predators who lurk in the shadows of the dark web. But the darkness has gotten even darker.
Prepubescent, toddler, infant, the guys and women that are exchanging and trading child pornography, the children have gotten younger as to what they desire, what they want.
And it's happening closer than you think. He took us for a drive to show you how close.
Grocery store over there?
One of the twins worked here?
Yes.
A clerk at a grocery store. His twin brother, a cashier at a local hardware store. They're both sitting in prison for child porn. The videos Agent Kicklighter says he found on their computers involving infants are the worst he's seen in his 30-year career.
2 of the videos I would not even show to the prosecutor because they were that bad of a video, with child being sexually abused, physically abused, bondage, basically tortured.
More often than not, law enforcement doesn't find a career criminal on the other side of the computer.
We've got middle school principals, teachers, police officers.
These are just some of the faces behind local cases involving the youngest victims. Faces you probably pass in the grocery store.
The day I interviewed him, he walked from the grocery store to another business across the street where I interviewed him in the parking lot.
So right here in the middle of Columbia County where everybody goes and gets their groceries.
93% of the time it's someone the child knows, loves, and trusts. So inadvertently it's someone that their parents know, love, and trust.
Angela Williams knows firsthand.
I am one of the statistics. I'm one of the little girls that was sexually abused, and I was abused by my stepfather, and it started at a very young age.
She was only 3 years old, and it continued for years.
And I think the biggest threat is within our homes, and I think holding our families accountable for the dark secrets that are in the closet that everyone tries to cover up. When you take a child's innocence, that's a part of their soul. And when it can't be replaced and it can't be returned.
And on the internet, the deepest, darkest desires of the human psyche are available in living color.
Well, pornography is definitely the fuel for child sexual abuse, and I think we have to do a better job, too, of stopping that.
It's a vicious cycle. Experts say the more child porn predators watch, the more desensitized they can become. They start to internalize what they see as normal behavior and crave more shocking images, which is why victims are getting younger.
It's a trend. It's growing. It's not something that's kind of sporadic here and there.
The victims can't speak, and it's a crime so shocking, it's often dismissed as impossible.
People are capable of doing things you wouldn't imagine they would be capable of doing.
Team is continuing to investigate a train derailment in Jefferson County that spilled dangerous chemicals into the air, causing the town to evacuate. And our area is no stranger to these types of derailments, causing dangerous chemicals to leak. So our I-team wanted to know what other dangerous chemicals move through our area, how often, and who knows when they do. 14 years ago, a train carrying 3 tankers filled with chlorine crashed into a parked train in Graniteville. The toxic gas escaped and hovered in the air, killing 9 people and injuring hundreds. Daniel Britt lived just outside the evacuation zone.
My friend actually worked with me out there, and when they found out that he couldn't find his dad, he took off. And come to find out later that afternoon that he had lost his dad.
14 years to the day, a 911 call in a town about 70 miles south sounded eerily familiar. Same train company, same deadly chemicals on board.
This is Operator Everett calling from Norfolk Southern Railroad Police Department. Calling to see if we can get responding units to respond to the area, Newman Smith Road or Hurd Bridge Road. Okay. Are there any injuries, sir? Unknown.
Norfolk Southern wouldn't tell us everything on board, but they did say 13 of those train cars were carrying chlorine. That's more than 4 times the number involved in the deadly Graniteville disaster.
Something like that would have come through here, it would have been catastrophic. I mean, it was already bad enough.
So what is coming through the CSRA every day? Trains are required to put hazmat placards on train cars designating dangerous loads. Since the Graniteville disaster, they also have to carry those loads in the back of the train. But as for who knows what and when dangerous chemicals are moving through a town, only the train companies. The state and federal oversight is not what you might expect. EMA officials tell us they are told always assume a train involved in an accident around here is carrying dangerous chemicals. Since Daniel now works right beside ground zero of the Graniteville disaster, he can't help but assume that.
Sometimes when we're at work and we hear trains going by, and we kind of get nervous sometimes, because you don't never know what's going to happen.
But once a train reaches its destination, most loads have to travel at least some distance by truck. So we filed an open records request for a Columbia County traffic study tracking what sort of hazardous material moves down I-20 in a 24-hour period. It's 102 pages long. Don't worry, we won't read it all to you, but let's just say keep both eyes on the road and try not to hit the trucks with ammonia, chlorine, hydrochloric acid, radioactive nuclear fuel rods, or any of these other deadly disasters waiting to happen. The study found more than 6 million pounds of hazardous cargo on I-20, and that's just in a day's time. It's the kind of thing we never really think about until it's too late.